Welcome in, welcome in, welcome once again to the newest edition of 3 In, 3 Out, the most unique Seahawks recap show in the multiverse. I'm your host, Clinton Bonner, and I am joined by the one, the only, the great Brandan Schultz. And Brandan, 3 In, 3 Out, a part of the Seahawkers podcast network. If folks are out there on YouTube listening on audio, what do they got to do for us to raise the Hawkward? Brandan, bring us there right now. What do we got to do?
Yeah, the biggest thing, especially if you're watching live, is to hit the like button.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you remember the movie The Ring, but when you watch the videotape, like 3 days later,
the thing crawls out.
It crawls out of the TV.
Yeah.
If you watch this and like it, but don't hit the like button, that's what happens.
The thing crawls out. So something will crawl out. Yeah.
You die, and it's tragic.
Wow, death. Okay, well, listen. There's a real reason.
I'm not threatening anyone. I'm just stating what I believe to be fact at this point in time.
Right. I mean, hey, we don't have a lot of rules on 3 In, 3 Out, but this one just seems to be hovering around us. So
it's just one of the things that you should do to protect yourself.
and the hawker, right? It's not just about you. Not you.
It's not about. Yeah, but I mean, you can't have Hawkera if you're expired.
Exactly. It's very difficult to have Hawkera from beyond, the great beyond, right? So this is 3 In, 3 Out. We'll be recapping the way we always do this 19-15 loss to the Packers. I particularly don't care about the loss so much there. What I do care about is that 3 In, 3 Out is our chance to look at the micro moments, to dig into the nooks, the crannies, the underbelly of the game, and to talk about some things that maybe had not been talked about too much yet with the other recap shows, which we had a great one last night too, Brent. That was
like how we did it yesterday.
That did do
kind of a recap, but this one is a more unique recap.
It's like, you know why? Because we put the word unique in front of it in the YouTube title. So it has to be
part of the algorithm.
has to be.
If somebody's searching for a show,
yes,
they're like, I've seen enough recaps. Right. And it's a day later. Show me something unique, YouTube.
That's it. And then voila, here we are. We're here to talk about that.
Then you subscribe. Then you go to getintheflock.com.
And you don't die in 3 days from the freaky, creepy well lady. Right. So it all comes together, and the Hawker raises. Even in a loss, the Hawker raises. Well, we know we had the one rule. We're not going to break it this time. It's a loss. We got to start with and out. Brandan, do the whammy. Okay, so we are starting with an out. We're going to keep it pithy here because it's still the preseason, folks. During the regular season, we like to meander maybe a tad bit here or there, more, go maybe even a fringe deeper, but it's the preseason. We're going to keep it nice and concise. This first one, quarter one, 9:49 to go. It's 3-0 Pack. They're at Seattle's 27-yard line. And you've got, let's see, DeeJay Dallas he's actually playing fullback in this play. You got Charbonnet, basically 7 yards deep, 7 yards deep, and Geno's under center. On this particular play, it's a run left. Now, Curran gets blasted, by the way. Like I went and rewatched this play because I didn't like it earlier. Jake Curran loses really badly. Really, He doesn't even get the out here, by the way. But he's 2 yards in the backfield within an eighth of a second. It's ugly. It's ugly. The uglier part of this play, Brandan, is Stone Forsythe gets walked around by Lucas Van Ness. Now, Lucas Van Ness, if folks followed the draft, if they remember, 13th overall pick, linebacker, can kind of obviously pinch down, kind of a Micah Parsons potential style player there. Really can go get the sacks from Iowa. Lucas Van Ness walks around Forsythe. Forsythe, I'm not sure, touches him. It's really, really bad, really bad. So Van Ness gets around. It goes nowhere. And I just wanted to put the big out on Forsythe here. It's bad. And Brandan, take this one away because I'm very concerned about the left side of our defensive, offensive line beyond our starters, man. Real bad.
I'm concerned about everybody who's not a starter on the offensive line. And I'm even concerned about, some of the starters if depending on how things go. So, I'm with Camden McLaren, who's watching live via YouTube. Second string tackles and guards look lost. I was struggling to see where you're going to go with this because you started out by talking about DeeJay Dallas, and I don't know how things are going for him right now because just as of Sunday evening, he tweeted out "Such is life," and ahead of cut down day. Those are not the types of tweets that you want to see for guys who maybe were expected to make the team.
Interesting. Wow. Okay. Did not see that. So we're getting that live, which is certainly adding to the seasoning here. Maybe it means nothing, right? Because obviously there was cut downs, but he was not. I saw the people who were cut after the game. He was not there. I mean, that's a kind of a fun little pivot. Scale of 1 to 10. How would you be? 10 being super shocked. Would you be a 10, 7, 1? Where would you be if DeeJay does not make this team?
I would be on the shocked scale. Well, maybe surprised, not shocked. What's that, like a 5? Based on
like a 6.
Like
yeah.
Charbonnet can do what DeeJay Dallas does, which is pass block, run, give up plays, and receive passes out of the backfield. So Charbonnet kind of fills that similar need. He's a little bit younger. And then, maybe they could keep Sir Roderick Thompson on the among those 4 running backs that they keep.
Yeah, who has been productive every chance he's kind of gotten, right? And scored a touchdown.
His health throughout the preseason.
Yeah, pretty big deal. There was a commenter out on YouTube after yesterday's reaction show, and they were talking about, they're like, DeeJay Dallas looks really, really good this preseason for us. And I was I was scratching my head going like, maybe he kind of just looks like DeeJay Dallas, which is
look bad.
No, he looks like a pretty good NFL running back that when they're just like we talked about, like with Charbonnet, when there's a hole, DeeJay Dallas will hit that hole. He'll hit the hole aggressively.
Right.
If there's a play out of the backfield and you want to dump it off to him, he's a short-handed guy and he will go north. There's not too much wiggle, but he will go north. And we like that about DeeJay. So that'll be interesting, man. That tweet, for those just joining now, that tweet from DeeJay Dallas saying "such is life" on Sunday night. Interesting as we get to this one, but still,
and it could mean nothing. Well, that's the thing about.
He could have just watched Oppenheimer for all we know, right? That he could be in his feels after Oppenheimer. All right, Forsyth gets the big out. Let's get to some fun stuff and in.
You could tell I didn't want to talk offensive line.
Yeah, well, thank you. You spun it to a much more fun place, at least. Speaking of fun, I'm breaking the rules again. I've got 4 ins. It's the preseason. It's just more fun to talk about the ins right now. I promise everybody we will get the balance, the sober yin, the raging yang after the Rams game. After we get the first victory, we will have 3 in, 3 out the real way. But today we got 4 ins because it's more fun. All right, one of the 4 ins. 12 minutes to go. Q1 0-0 game. Green Bay's on the Seattle 37. We talked about this in the preview on What If, being like a lot of what we're going to be looking for is on the defensive side, just seemingly more important battles. 1st and 10, Love's under center. This time, the Packers have a tight end playing fullback, and they got A.J. Dillon deep. O'Connell and Bush on this play, they do a really, really nice job. They get down the line, they read it, and O'Connell makes a nice tackle, and Bush is there to kind of help clean it up. They do a good job. When I first circled this, I had this as an O'Connell, like when I first watched the game, I had it as an O'Connell, star that I'd go back and maybe make it an in.
Yeah.
Upon review, there's a different dude doing double duty, and that is on the left edge, Brandon, Tyreek Smith. He takes on 2 dudes, and the whole point of this is no wonder O'Connell was clean. Now, O'Connell did his job, read it, got down the line, made a tackle. Bush, same thing, and gets the secondary hit to clean it up. Great. If we go back and watch this, and again, we're talking 12 minutes to go in the first quarter. Tyreek Smith, he stands up. I think it's number 16. So he's standing up a wide receiver. And then the tight end's bearing down and trying to get to the second level. And Tyreek Smith does not allow it. It's really, really subtle. He sheds the first receiver, throws him inside, and then takes on the would-be fullback, which is a tight end playing fullback. Right. Does not allow him to get to the linebackers, and O'Connell gets the clean hit. I was like, ooh. So upon review in this very nice micro moment, Tyreek Smith doing the work. Everybody's talking Levi Bell. That's cool. I'm here to tell you Tyreek Smith is not going gentle into that good night. He gets the in.
It does feel like a battle between those 2 for maybe that last defensive end spot, though. And it's going to be interesting to see what the team decides to do this week. Will they go with Tyreek, who is maybe more traditionally sized for the position, or maybe they like the upside? And I know Michael Bennett was all, crushing on his feelings about, I got the sense that Levi Bell was his preseason crush. So there could be some reasoning behind that too. And I'm curious to see how this works out. I tend to lean Tyreek Smith though.
It's tough. I mean, he didn't get the chance last year. He gets basically the red shirt year. He was drafted, 5th rounder from Ohio State. So real nice pedigree. And he was that kind of dude. They're like, look, he's better on the field than he is the combine. And so far, I think he's played pretty well. He's played enough that I want to see more of him. Now, if that comes at the expense of Levi Bell, maybe Levi Bell's the dude you can stash, where I'm not sure he can stash Tyreek. I don't know.
I feel like a 5'11" edge at 260 is probably a guy you can slip onto the practice squad.
Most likely, but he's been playing kind of out of his tree too, which is cool. So we got some good problems to solve. We got to get to our last and final out because we only got 2. So let's whammy that thing. I did like that live comment from GG Gambling Goat. If you could throw that up there, Brandon, thank you. For the folks out on YouTube, he put Bell at fullback though, ... No, thank you. I think Smith takes the spot. Okay. I thought Gambling Goat was saying Bell at fullback, like that's the advantage. And then he says, no, I don't like that. So I think Gambling Goat is
more spots. The Gambling Goat knows because I looked at the Seahawks roster and depth chart that they have up on the website. The only spot they have for Nick Bellore is at fullback. So they've taken away his linebacker spot on the depth chart. And we don't need that.
So Gambling Goat is sticking up for Nick Bellore. So between 2 Bellores, we got Gambling Goat. Good job there. All right. So not such a great job. We touched on this a little bit, and folks were poking at this one, definitely grinded some gears, but this is first drive of quarter number 3, 12-7 pack. This is the simple play. This is the play where everything hell's bells breaks loose. And we got Drew Lock doing his best young Russ impression, scrambling right, hitting the Jets reverse, going back to his left-hand side, throwing cross body, down the sideline, perfect spiral, hose, and Cade Johnson can't seem to keep his feet in bounds. And I want to circle back to this one because it's got to be an out. You gotta keep your feet in bounds. And the big thing is, Brandon, I think this is going to cost him a roster spot. I really do, considering how other people played. I don't know how you could reward it. It stinks, but what do you think? That's why I wanted to kind of resurrect this one a little bit. 24 hours later, Cade Johnson's getting the out, but do you think he's a goner now? What do you think his chances are?
If it's a guy who is an undrafted free agent coming out of college his first year, that's one that maybe you excuse because maybe he hasn't had that chance to work. Because in college, you just have to get the 1 foot down. It counts as a catch.
Yep.
Maybe you haven't had the time to really perfect that toes on the sideline, catch the ball.
Toe drag swag, as Burleson would call it. Yeah.
Perfected your toe drag swag.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, but to be this far into your NFL career and being on the practice squad, that's a play that we see a lot from this team. And for him to not have it in that moment, maybe I'm being a little bit too hard on one catch, but that's one I would expect him to make.
Yeah, it's like some, the piece of it too is we've seen him with good foot control previously. He's been here for a couple of years now. He's been a dude who is kind of that cerebral player that can just make those little things happen to make up for the fact that he's not a 6'4" guy that runs a 4.3. So it's tough. And of course the NFL is a very tough business. Hate to say, I don't think he's going to make it over one play. It's probably a little too, hyperbolic. I think he doesn't make the team at this point though. And it's going to stink because as an individual, he's going to be on that in his brain, maybe for a bit being like, oh man, if I only dragged my feet, if I only got my feet down. We saw Noah Fant do that a couple times last year in the season. And we were ripping mad. It's like, come on, dude. Like, you're at the sideline. Just put your feet down. You're going that way. Just drag your freaking feet. So it was a bad one. On the positive, a beautiful, beautiful ball from Locke crossbody that I think we could still celebrate. All right.
Turning the out into the in.
Gotta do
how
it.
you do it.
That's how you do it. All right, since it was our last out, since we're going 4-2 anyway, we get to celebrate the rest of the way. All right, so let's see. That means we got 3 more ins, I think, to finish this thing off, and why not? Okay, in 4:45 to go. I think this is quarter 2. It is 9-0 Packers. Once again, they're driving. They're at Seattle's 39 at this point. This is the 4th and 1 play, and we talked about Artie Burns making this play yesterday, and it was like, oh, that's a cool play. I would love folks to go back and watch the subtleness at what Artie Burns does here, because it's so freaking fascinating. So you would think it's a 4th and 1 play, and if Artie Burns made the play, then he must have just been down at the line of scrimmage right from the get-go. Like, he's just there the whole time. Go back and watch this. He's off. And so if it's the offensive left-hand side, right? So down towards us in the screen, he's actually walking towards the sidelines, kind of pretending to fix his gloves. I'm not joking. Like, kind of pretending to fix his gloves while Love is snapping the ball. So what happens is the dude who's over on the left-hand side there on the offensive line, or the tight end, he doesn't see Burns at all. So he just kind of crashes inside and just really doesn't do anything extra, because he's just kind of taking up a guy that's already blocked. And Burns sneaks in, like, on the hike. He just kind of reverse pivots and crashes down the line with, like, really savvy timing, so that the dude that I think was supposed to block him, it's not there. Yeah. He could just come up and just gets the hit, smacks the guy, and it's a stop on a 4th and 1. If he's sitting there at the line when it's hiked, he's probably getting blocked just straight up. Thought it was super savvy. He sells it. And really, frankly, if we won the game, this would be this would be the NBC if we won this darn game. I loved it that much.
Yeah, that's kind of fun to be in that position, and maybe that doesn't work on a more veteran player,
right?
In the preseason, to be to at least give the guy the sense that, oh, that guy's fixing his glove. He's not even paying attention. I guess I'll find work elsewhere. And that's what he did. And Artie Burns ends up coming in and making the big play. And I like what we've seen through this preseason from Artie Burns. He was a standout in the mock game to start the season. He had some nice plays throughout the preseason, and who knows what the status of Witherspoon is. I hope he's ready to go, but whether he's ready or not, Artie Burns is going to have a spot on this team, I think.
I think so too. I think he's earned it. It was cool to see Burns go from a dude last year that we really knew nothing about, except for that DeeJay liked him. Like, we knew from EJ that he played good.
Chicago, he was in that
played
system.
Good the second half of that year on a really bad Bears team, but he kind of stood out. So EJ was like, no, the guy could play a bit, and DeeJay liked him, and then he gets injured. So he really didn't know much at all. He's a pretty good corner. He really is. So savvy, nice veteran play, and also he could have made all those plays and still not made the tackle. He gets there and takes on a running back who's got a bit of steam and stands him right up and still holds him off and goes nowhere. So it's a TFL and the turnover. So, and that changes the game, by the way. It's 9-0. Before that play, they're driving again. We stop them, and that's the drive where Bobo gets goes for 6, and we make it 9-7. So it was a big time momentum changer too. So got to give all that love to Mr. Burns. All right, speaking of that, let's whammy it. We got 2 more ins, because why not? It's fun.
Excellent.
Very nice. Very nice there, Smithers. All right, so we now have, I know that was Burns. I'm just joshing. All right, so Q1 still. This is another in that I really, really enjoyed. This was another really solid play from a player that we talked about, Hotel Gotel last night. Gotel made a bunch of plays and looked really good. Like, that was great to see Gotel, and maybe he makes the team now. The other dude that we were saying is still competing hard is Roderick Perry. This is the play, man. We were good in some 3rd down situations and some 4th down situations, like we just talked about with Artie. This is 3rd and 2. This is Q1, 4:39 to go. It's 3-0 Packers. And the Packers at this point they're on their own 17-yard line. Love, again, he's in shotgun, and the Packers are 4 wide. This play, again, I love the timestamp, 4:39 Q1. Perry, he comes out of his stance. He looks so friggin' fast for a big man on this particular play. He splits the right guard and center. He kind of okey dokes the right guard, gives him like a little bit of a, hey, I'm coming at you, then ducks his shoulder inside and splits the center on the center's left-hand side. And he's in Love's face in, lickety split and gets like a junior thigh arm up in there, bats it down. Love catches it. And then Love takes actually a pretty hard hit and, goes nowhere with it. That's a great play by Perry for a big man. I know and this is early in the game. These are still like Packer 1s and 2s.
Yeah.
So Perry showed a lot to me in that play. And I've just been impressed. Last night I was Gotel's going to get it back. I think I'm back on the Joe Perry, Roderick Perry fan wagon here, Brandon. I don't know where I really land, but Perry gets the in. What do you think of the play? And then what do you think, man? Do you think it's Gotel, Perry, or none of the above?
I'm having a hard time because it's depth on the interior, and I could see the Seahawks even going out and maybe trying to find someone else too. So I wouldn't want to get attached to anyone in particular.
It's happening though, Brandon.
I know. If we look at PFF grades just from the Green Bay game, Gotel did finish in the top 5 among the defensive players. And Perry was, down there around average, but he was the only Seahawks player to have a batted pass on the day. So that's something they could use on the offensive line. And coming into his second year after being with the Browns last year, maybe there wasn't a whole lot of room for him to find a spot on that particular team with as much talent as they have on the defensive line. Maybe there's some growth there that Perry has coming to the Seahawks now.
Yeah, it could very well be. And is PFF great if it's average or not? And that's fine. Obviously, some of that's subjective with PFF, but it is a nice standard. And I get that Gotel probably had the stronger game overall, and I think he probably did. The nicety for this particular one is also that the Packers had a punt. This is 3rd and 2, so It's also the moment in which you do it. So 3rd and 2, and just for a couple of years, I don't think we've been really the best team at batting balls down, even though we got a lot of sacks last year and a couple of years before.
Down playmakers in general.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Very fair point. Just it was bad at 3rd down conversion percentage on both sides of the ball last year. So one way to solve that is to get pressure up the gut. A very good way to solve that, in fact, is to get pressure up the gut. And Perry demonstrated, at least in this play, that he could do it. So couple of nice things this preseason from Perry. At the very least, I hope the young man has helped himself, whether that's practice squad or gets to a different team, or Seattle just likes him and that's it. He just makes the 53 and contributes. But
I like him more than Cam Young, who I haven't seen the entire preseason. So
that's a great point, right? We went into this off season knowing what the holes were. We ripped apart the defensive line, and we kind of relied on some of these draft picks with Mike Morris, who got hurt, and Cam Young, who has not sniffed the field. So awesome point. I want Cam Young to be the dude. He's the bigger body guy. It's weird to me to think, okay, even if he's healthy, is he really going to be out there taking snaps game 1 when he hasn't had a snap yet in the preseason? Right. I don't see Carroll doing it, but I could see him playing Perry or Gotel, and it'll be interesting, really interesting to watch.
It's nose tackle. What do? You just run into the 2 guys who are right in front of you. The job can't be that hard.
Can't be that hard. As long as you have gigantic, juicy, beefy thigh arms, can't be that hard. All right, whammy it. Did I mention that I miss Al Woods and his thigh arms?
I get that sense.
Yeah, I do miss him. I think we do too. All right, last in. So this is 13:47 to go in the 4th quarter now. So it's 12-7 game. This is before the kind of the explosion towards the end of the game with the little fireworks on both sides. This is 1st and 10. Green Bay is at Seattle's 20-yard line. So they're driving here again. This particular play, Love's in shotgun, and it's a little draw run. What I loved here is this is another play in particular. So again, 13:47 Q4. Gotel wins. Gotel beats his dude. Tyreek Smith on this play has a bad rep. Bad. He's blown off the ball. So just trying to bring the sober yin, raging yang. Talking about Tyreek Smith earlier. So a little micro out tucked in here. Gotel beats his dude. Tyreek Smith is badly beaten. Radigan makes a heck of a play, sees it, comes up, stuffs it right away. But the dude who kind of initiates all the calamity is Levi Bell. Levi Bell cuts inside and he's beating a wide receiver who's in tight. And I get at that point in the game, we're talking about a 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 wide receiver. It is what it is. Levi Bell isn't yet a starter either. But it's, again, very, very savvy, very quick off the ball. He jumps inside, sees the ball's going right. The ball's going right. He's on the right-hand side of the defense, cuts inside the wide receiver. He's in the backfield in half a second, blowing up the play, giving no cutback lane, and then Radigan's able to just, come in and make a nice stick. So love what I saw there. So I'm very much this sober yin, raging yang, Brandan, Tyreek Smith, Levi Bell. I don't know what to do here. They're both getting ins, but Levi Bell is good, man. He continues to make plays and just be really just quick off the ball, and it's an exciting player. So I'm gushing a bit for Levi Bell.
Well, it's a good thing you've balanced it out, because now if either one gets called into the room with Pete, now they have this chit that they can show Pete and say, hey, I got an in on 3 in, 3 out.
Right.
Don't even think about cutting me. Or if you do, I have to use this.
Yeah, you have to call on the chip, right? And Tyreek is going to say, but Levi, I got it in on 3 in, 3 out. And Coach Carroll's going to come and yell at us for breaking the fact that we gave 4 ins, especially during a 19-15 loss. But I think it's okay. I think
Darrell Taylor gets traded and we get a defensive tackle out of that trade, because he did not have any preseason ins. Sorry, Darrell.
Yeah, I'm very sorry, Darrell. I like Darrell Taylor as a pass rusher. However, there are just certain dudes now at this point in their Seahawks tenure and future draft picks that if they were to package something up and, let's say a cornerback, and let's say an edge guy, because we have some depth there, and then a player to be named later in the form of a draft pick, and we can go get DeForest Buckner. I mean, I'm hitting that thing as quickly as I possibly can. So to solve that defensive tackle, just to beef up right inside. And then there's some other dudes as well. What do you think about Brandan? You still got Ndamukong Suh and Akeem Hicks are sitting out there. So 2 veterans who have done this for a long, long time. I guess, how would you rank them? A trade for Buckner, where it was like, a pretty good package you have to give away, or signing one of the other 2 dudes as a free agent? What would you prefer to do?
I would prefer to get the better player, which is more likely to happen through trade at this point, just because of the age of those guys. I don't know where I'm at with Sue. I kind of would lean Akeem Hicks in that. And yeah, I guess that's where I'm going.
Okay. I could live with it. I mean, either way, any one of those scenarios I think is really positive, and it's a potential. So we got the next. So we did our 4 and our 2. We don't have a Brandan because, hey, when we lose, we don't get the one rule.
We already ended with an in. So
yeah, exactly. We got a bonus in already. We don't get the Brandan. We don't do the MVC, the most valuable cranny. So it's a shorter show in all those ways. With that though, we got cut down day. Cut down day is Tuesday. So I think it's 1 o'clock Pacific, 4 o'clock Eastern is when the team's got to go from 90 to 53. But then you've got this whole 24 hours where they could retain people, but then store them on the IR essentially, right? So it's going to be even some shuffling after those 24 hours to figure out what that initial roster looks like. But it will be interesting. So I think we'll have a chance to, I'm sure, react to the 53 or shortly after that. And then it's time to lock and load and get into our habit in a good way. I mean that in the most positive way possible. 4 to 5 shows each week and just cranking these things out for the Hawkra and for the 12s out there, because it's go time, dude.
It will be go time. Are we going to get to any ins and outs from the Discord in this one?
Oh yeah, dude. I'm of course here. Thank you. This is why you're here. Yeah. All right. You started.
I attribute Jeff saying, "Great episode, guys, as always." He sensed you were coming to a close, and I had to reel it back in and say, we do have some ins and outs from the folks in Discord. These are the people who went to getintheflock.com and joined at $3 a month or above, and they got their invite to the Discord. They're hanging out with us, watching the game, and yeah, we're making ins and outs in the Discord 3 in, 3 out channel.
Yeah, I love it. That's the best way to get involved. And of course, you could join, like Brandon said, you could be part of the Seahawkers Pod Ring of Honor on Facebook. Of course, we have Discord, and it's just a lot of fun. And we sit there and watch it on game day. Hey, before we hit the Discord, we got Jeff Stevens with a really nice question live for us here. So he says, "What do you think of the offensive coaching lately?" Brandon, why don't you take it? I have a quick answer on that. But why
I
don't
know
you
what
take
your answer is going to be, because I feel like you were disgusted by this in our post game episode. I was teeing it up for you because in the preseason, there's really not a whole lot that you can make of offensive coaching apart from maybe a decision here or there, which guys tend to be played. I like the idea of getting to see Bobo with those first team reps early, so that was nice. To see that from the offensive coaching throughout the preseason. And I guess I was appreciative that they were trying to run the ball early. It didn't work out real well, and that's because of the play of the offensive line. But I think they needed those reps. They got them, and we weren't happy with what we saw.
Right. All correct. Very, very good, Brandon. That's an A+++. Yeah, for me, very simply, it's just it's vanilla. I am not where what do I think of it? I don't think really anything of it is really what it boils down to, Jeff.
Except you wanted to see them go for it on 4th and 1.
That I think that I'm not even sure that is offensive coaching. I think that's Pete making a call to send the unit out there to punt the ball. So I won't even put that one on Shane the Main Brain Waldron, because he probably wanted it.
Shane, say we're doing this. It's the preseason. It's my call.
Right. We're going for it on 4th and 1, and we're not getting Devin Bush hurt on a needless punt coverage. That is what I would have liked to see. We should, hey, Rams, play 1, series 1. I can nearly guarantee you we're not going to run the ball back-to-back plays on down 1 and down 2 for like 1.5 yards. That's just not what's going to happen. We threw the ball a lot last year on first down. We are going to throw the ball quite a bit on first down, if not more than last year. I expect us to come out fairly up tempo, Geno in command, and throwing the ball around the field, and then breaking, giving it to Walker and loosening things up further. We did a lot of it. We did a lot of Tennessee Titan things this preseason, but it's because it's the preseason. Like first down run, second down run. All right, it's 3rd and 9. Cool, tough, right? It's hard.
Jeff also saying, I like that Shane the Brain has given Locke some sexy deep balls. And some of those, I don't know if they were necessarily designed. It looked like they were trying to keep Locke within the structure of the offense at times throughout the game. Having that first down run, then on second down, trying to have maybe a shorter pass at times, and then take the deep shots when necessary. I got more of the sense that they wanted to try and see that how Locke would work in the structure of the offense. And then there were times where the play broke down and we got to see some of those sexy deep shots that he landed so well in some situations.
And he was really, I thought, Locke, a little bit better between the hashes or just outside the hashes too, like the seam stuff. This like that Aesop, the first one, the Aesop, where he snags it out of the air to Aesop Winston.
Yeah,
what a beautiful throw. I mean, he had his stuff to the sidelines also, but he was really using the middle part of the field with a lot of confidence. In fact, the play where Locke almost gets intercepted, he kind of locks in on his guy on the out route there. Right. And there's a guy in the seam. I think he's running a stick route, and he's coming wide open. He's got, but Drew is, he's not all the way there yet. He
wasn't the greatest route by Bobo either. Put some blame on that.
Not the greatest route either, but certainly a pick 6 in many occasions, and they dropped the ball. So, hey, again, sober yin, raging yang. It's all good. And back to Jeff's question, I'm still very, very confident in general in this offense when the real stuff starts, as long as we can stay healthy on the offensive line. And that's like every friggin' team. What do we got from Roger the Shrubber? I like this name on YouTube.
Yeah, that's got to be from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Was it Monty Python and the Holy Grail?
I think it's one of the. Yeah, I believe
one
so.
Of the Monty Pythons.
Yeah.
Should have kept Locke in for those final 2 minutes. Yeah, we wanted to see it. We wanted to see if he could go the full distance and get the win at the end. I don't think he throws that pick that Ehlers throws at the end. So maybe allow Ehlers to get down to the goal line. Then you sub in Locke, have him throw the touchdown pass, win the game. We go undefeated in the preseason. Then we go undefeated in the regular season. And then once again in the postseason, the trifecta of 2023 Seahawks football.
Yes. And, with those plans scuttled, we'll have to just start anew on September 10th and start it all again. And I'm okay with that. So, but great job by Roger coming in with the comment live. Okay. Now let's get to from the flock and the folks that are listening live. Please keep hammering us with some comments. We'll throw them on screen if we want to talk about them. All right. So Brandon, I'll start off in the Discord here. We got Designed Pete's Beach House, which is of course Amy. I love it. Amy's watching the game with a lot of intensity here. And she says, in Sir Roderick with the block on the Bobo touchdown. So great to see Sir Roderick Thompson back there, picking the dude up, giving Locke enough time to kind of step back a little bit further, float the ball, and get that 6 to Bobo. What'd you like from Sir Roderick?
I like Sir Roderick. I think he should be a part of that crew with Monty Python and the Holy Grail. If you have Sir Robin, Sir Lancelot, Sir Roderick should be part of that group as well. Parfar with the in. Drew Lock looking this good with third stringers really makes me happy. We held on to him. And in 15 days to our first real game. Can't wait to destroy the Lambs.
Right. And she wrote that yesterday. So we're now into 14 days, I believe. Right. So that's just because that's how numbers work. Yeah, right. Exactly. All right. We got Hawk Van Dyke, which is of course, Bloomy. By the way, we'll have a special episode with Bloomy coming out this week, which is a fantasy football episode. And don't worry, it's not just talking about fantasy football. It's talking about Seahawks and their worth and why we would draft certain Seahawks and where we would take them based against other players. So I think you'll enjoy some of that analysis. So you can check out Bloomy there, but he simply says next time it's for real, which gets us focused.
We also have Hawk Van Dyke. Oh, he's going to have us get us some emojis, more emojis in the Discord. We got Stubbs42 giving it out to Phil for jinxing Derek Hall's injury. Is this something that happened in What If? Did I miss this?
Yeah. So, if you talk to Mr. Phil, he will tell you he does not believe in jinxes. So he'll just say, fine, but I don't believe in jinxes. And yes, he did. So is what it boils down to, because he basically said, look, the only dude that can't get hurt who's a rookie is Hall. Like, can we get Hall through this without getting hurt? And then of course he gets the shoulder, little sprain in the shoulder there, see how good or bad it is. And in a couple days time, I'm sure, hopefully nothing major. So yeah, Mr. Phil probably got to wear the out for that one. All right. Well, we had, let's see. We also had Red Wagon in the Discord saying in the gas defensive front, still playing hard all game long. So a nice little recognition that even though, because we were out there for quite a bit, the balance of power, the time possession was definitely favored against the Packers. Packers ran the ball 45 times, and to the point of Red Wagon out on Discord, good for our fellas to kind of stick with it all the way through. And really, we went over this yesterday in the reaction game. Besides the QB scrambles, I think we held them to like 3.6 yards per run when it was a running back run the ball. That's pretty darn good, actually.
Yeah, that's not bad. OD Death Metal coming in. Another guy who we got to see some from the preseason who was not bad. I'm really hoping Winston makes this team. The dude can play. He's great insurance if something happens to JSN. I don't even think of it in terms of him and versus JSN, but I want to have someone who has the opportunity to make plays on special teams. And I think Winston could have that ability. We just haven't had that guy who makes the team just for special teams purposes and is really good at it, apart from our running back who they decided not to bring back this year.
Godwin. Yeah.
Godwin.
Yeah. And we did cut, we brought in Malik Flowers and he got one kickoff return and we cut him. So There was that. So he was supposed to be the kickoff demon and a potential Godwin Igbuke replacement, and he's gone. So, which is unfortunate. And we have Camden also with a live fire here. Camden who has the best season in the tight end room, not necessarily most yards, touchdowns. Ooh, okay.
All around tight end, I gotta say Uncle Will, because even in the preseason, the guy that we've seen the most from in terms of blocking, in terms of catching, the full package it's been Will Dissly in the preseason, even just for the few plays that he's been out there.
Yeah, and we talked about this in a couple of shows, maybe a few months ago, about the fact that, look, something's got to give, and it probably be a lot less 12 personnel, and certainly probably less 13 personnel, right? 13, and just for the folks who want that reminder, the 3 in 13 it means 3 tight ends, and the 2 in 12 personnel means 1 running back, 2 tight ends, 1 running back, 3 tight ends for 13 and 12 personnel. We can expect less of that. Now, the JSN injury, it will be I think a big focal point there. If he's in, sure, a lot more 11, which means 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 running back. With that, to answer the question, I think it is Uncle Will, because he just is the most overall best balanced tight end. So if one dude's out there, it's going to be him more than the others. So yeah, I'll go with Uncle Will as well.
All right. Glad we came to consensus as we close out this episode of the show. If you're still hanging in there with us, 40 people hanging with us, catching us live.
We're peaking, Brandan. We're peaking.
And, if we don't have 43 likes, then you should beware, because 3 days after, if you enjoy this and don't like it,
right?
Again, and it's not just the creepy long-haired girl. It's as Cale Lively says, it's the ghost of Brian Bosworth,
which is difficult, because Brian Bosworth, as far as I know, is still a day walker. He's still out there. I think he's the mayor of the Dr. Pepper town in those commercials, in fact, and does a pretty good job with those. But that's how creepy it's going to be, is that the ghost of a non-dead man is going to come after you. So if you chuckled, if you liked it, you got to subscribe, you got to hit the likes. Otherwise, you might be a little creeped out in 3 days. And we warned you. What can we tell you?
And you don't want that to happen. And with that,
there's only one thing left to say.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.